Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to this extra time match breakdown for the result of Everton 0, Man United 2 in the Carabao Cup quarter-final. A disappointing result, I'm sure every fan agrees. Let's just get straight into it then and dissect. Owen, what's your initial take on the result and the performance?
A game too far, probably. We've had 3 games previous to this against teams with, at least on paper, a lot of quality in the final third, and we've managed to nullify them by hook or by crook and found moments ourselves. Against United, it was a bridge too far for us. We were even more stretched with sort of a few changes in terms of Olsen, and obviously Gomez did play, didn't he? Yeah, I didn't see him. But yeah, a few changes here and there, and it made us weaker. And nothing was more sort of typified by the game when they can cover Martial and Rashford to come off the bench to sort of win them the game. We've got Tosin and Bernard to come off. It's that until we have levels like that where we're subbing players and it's like for like quality replacement, then we're not going to be a team that's going to challenge for these trophies, unfortunately, because we just don't have the strength and depth, especially over Christmas, to compete on all fronts. And that's the way it is. Obviously, with Charleston went off with an injury. Don't know how that's going to settle down. Obviously, that joins the mega injury list, but only one team in this league can have injuries, apparently. So we can't complain too much because of that. So we have to get on with Sheffield United. Boxing Day is going to be an awkward game, but on last night, I think it was a game too far. I think many of the things we talk about, doing the right things, defending properly, we did. That one space Decore left open for Cavani won them the game. If he didn't do that, we go to penalties, and obviously it's 50-50. Well, we didn't have a single penalty taken on the pitch in the end. I don't think there's about 5, so I wouldn't have fancied our chances in there either. But we nearly got to penalties, which was, I think, by the time the 70th minute came, should have been our target because we went in that game. It was just, they had too much quality, and if we exposed the game, we'd have lost, and we did. So unfortunately, we lose without the cup, but I still think we're in a really positive position. But we just need that a bit extra quality, especially in the final third for me in January, in terms of bringing on for like.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've got it in your first sentence there. A game too far, and I'd probably go a little bit. I'd expand a little bit on that and say a game too far and possibly a season too early. Because when you look at the level of game it was, big game in the middle of a tough schedule with players missing. You look at the players that Ancelotti had to call upon, and they made 9 changes and still had quality all over the pitch. We made 3 changes and we brought, Olsen in, who had a mixed game. Kept us in it at times at the beginning, but his kicking was awful. So, it was a bit of this and a bit of that with him. Coleman, I didn't think did very well. I think Holgate has performed better than him in the games he's played at right back lately. And Andre Gomez, the less said, the better. So I think...
The less said, definitely the better.
Yeah. I think... what I mean by a season too early is after another couple of transfer windows, you may start to see us pull through these games even with the injuries because we'll have better players to call upon. But, obviously we've had that style of play for the previous 3 games, which has saw us through. But obviously now the legs are starting to feel, the monumental effort that's been put into defending in those games. And we are, enough games in of that team now to really start to miss the key chance creators we had missing, like the James Rodriguez's, the Luca Deans. We missed Allen's, presence in this middle of midfield, especially, when the players were bringing in on anything like his level of quality, like Gomez, Tom Davies, who did better than, Gomez certainly, but he's not going to patch on Allen. If that Man United game would have been the first of the 4 games, I think we could have won. I think we would have had enough about us to do it, but it came at the right time for them because they could make all those changes, still be fresh, still have all that quality. They've got, Fernandez, they've got, Pogba playing still, all this quality. against a tired Everton team on, driving on fumes, basically. So what I want to do first is, first, shall we go through like chunks of the match and just say what we said, like that first 20 minutes, I'm not absolving the players entirely, due to tiredness. There were some very poor performances in the game. I don't think they really helped themselves in the first 20 minutes. I felt like they were nervous. I think the gravity of the game was getting to them a little bit, misplaced passes galore, bad touches everywhere. And how we got through 20 to 25 minutes though conceding, I don't know. So give us your take on the first 20 minutes where we were all over the place.
We were living a bit of a charm life the first 20 minutes. Like I think they had 9 shots in 20 minutes. I didn't know what was going on. They were just playing really, really well. They were coming through us. Whereas teams who have been playing out wide and backwards and sideways in front of us, they just cut right through us the first 20 minutes. Bruno, Pogba, Van den Beek, Greenwood, Cavani. It reels off like a dream team, but they've got how they're not really in serious contention with the league title, I'll never know, because I think they've got some really good footballers. And they just cut through it. I think as much as people give Olsen stick, I thought he really kept us in it the first 20 minutes in terms of saving. If that was Pickford and goal, I think we would have had a few in our net, to be honest. But yeah, we managed to stay in it. We were very deep the first 20 minutes, and we were trying to play out and get out, but misplaced passes. Andre Gomez looking like he's been played 4 games in a day or something, just hobbling around the pitch and getting ran through. And if it was not for just a collective effort by the defenders to just make sure we block everything, then we'd have been a couple down. But we managed to stay in it. But I think we could tell from them very early moments in the game that they had a lot of quality, and sooner rather than later they would find a moment. It was just on if we could get that moment first, and okay, we didn't, but they did have a lot of quality, and you could tell really early on.
Yeah, I mean, after the first 20 to 25 minutes, the game settled down somewhat, but going forward from there, I think something that worked against us as well. I mean, it's not the reason we lost, but it's a contributing factor. Is if you're going to win any cup, you need things to go in your favour. You need that rub of the green, and yes, and in this game, it was some poor officiating. Like if this game had VAR. If this game had VAR, this game was an advert for VAR, but the amount of things that we could have got, possibly should have got, could have changed the makeup of the game. Just talk us through some of them.
We were talking about that first 20 minutes there. There was a moment in the game where they would just have offside players just taking shots from anywhere. They were offside and they would have gone in, the goals would have been given. But there were so many like offsides, little handballs, the referee didn't notice upon. And if it weren't for Robin Olsen becoming Superman for a bit, then we would have been a couple of goals down because of bad officiating. And we're going to get on to some of the later incidents, but blimey, honest to God, if there was ever a reason why we needed some sort of efficient and reformed VAR, it was that game, because it was baffling. Honestly, it was really bad, the officiating in that game. It was the referee.
Andy Madley, was it?
Whoever he was.
Oh, whoever it was.
He rivaled Andre Mariner's game the other day. Really.
Yeah, well, let's go straight on to that. Let's not wait, because frankly, the next turning points in the game were some of the refereeing decisions. The choke slam from Edison Cavani on Yerry Mina.
That was a red card for me.
I say choke slam like tongue in cheek. Obviously, Yerry Mina doesn't have to fall over from that, but that is, we've seen Granit Xhaka got sent off for Arsenal for the same offence. Any VAR or even a competent referee, because there's now pictures of him looking right at the incident.
Cavani, didn't he?
Oh, I don't remember, but it's a sending off because he's put his hands on the player's throat, regardless of how ridiculous Mina reacts to it. It's still a sending off.
Wow, it was a red card, most definitely. I think the other one we're going to talk about, I don't think was, because I just think there was too much going on at play for that to be a red card personally. But I do think Cavani's was definite red card, definite.
Yeah, it's a silly one, but he should have been sent off, because you've seen other players get sent off for this season. That would have been a key turning point in the game if it had been given. But the next actual turning point in the game was the injury to Richarlison. You know, Bailly's, you know, doing what Eric Bailly does. He's, you know, he's a walking red card usually. I've got a Man United fan friend who says he's just a disaster waiting to happen constantly. He concusses Richarlison, but with a little bit of help from Bruno Fernandes, who does the old Harry Kane thing of like shoving a player who's in the air with his shoulder. So, and I'm mad. I don't think you'd be able to send him off for that because he hasn't. It's not violent conduct or anything like that, but just speaks to what a little rat of a player he is. You know, world-class quality, but a horrible little snide for doing that. Like, he's caused an injury there to one of our key players.
But he's a world-class rat. I would have all day, every day of the week, and twice on Sunday.
Yeah,
so.
I know, but it's gone against us that, and it's from that moment you just think, you know, any chance we had in this game is probably gone now, because when you're looking at the bench, you know, we're bringing on.
Another thing I really want to bring up, right. Bernard sometimes starts games and he looks okay when he starts games. Sometimes he comes off the bench and he looks like he's had 4 bloody pints of wine or something. But he just doesn't never get into the game. He just looks half cut all the time he plays.
He's he was anonymous, wasn't he, when he came on? I actually, you know, we brought on Tosin and Bernard, which, let's be honest, if we're bringing on Tosin and Bernard, and go on.
Don't expect to win trophies with Bernard and Tosin. Rafa talks about winning the Champions League with Jimmy Traore left back. That if we won the League Cup with Bernard and Tosin.
But I honestly, I didn't think we were going to win at this point, because I thought, no Richarlison, we've not been great all game, but we're still in it. It's 0-0. But imagine we had, you know, James Rodriguez or players like that to bring on, you know, like actual quality off the bench, or even some of the quality they had. They were starting to bring on their first teamers in Rashford and Martial to turn the game for them. But I had actual, you know, sort of cautious hope for Bernard. I thought we might get something from Bernard, because he's a different proposition to Richarlison. You know, he's a little bit more tricky. He's not as direct, not as fast, but they've been dealing with direct and fast from Richarlison all night. So maybe, you know, Bernard gets pocketed by Wan-Bissaka every single time he plays against them. But Wan-Bissaka wasn't on, so I thought Bernard might have some joy here. But he just wasn't in the game whatsoever. Like, he did he touch the ball? I saw someone on Twitter say towards the end of the game that he was defending when we were going up the pitch. That's how ineffectually, you know, when you leave 2 players back and you just start launching it.
One was Bernard.
One was Bernard and one was Tom Davies going. That's how poor he is going forward at the minute, that he's actually defending now. But yeah, the game starts to get away from us. I think both sets of supporters and both, you know, sets of coaches are probably thinking it's penalties coming, and I was dreading penalties just because.
Well, on 88 minutes, I was saying, "Come on, let's get to penalties." Even though we didn't have a penalty taker to our name, like, I'd still talk it because they had so much quality. So for me, the 0-0 was what I was looking for of the game. Not exactly the progression, but the 0-0, because it's another marker that we can just nullify a team. Then 50-50. Then you're hoping for more miracles from Olsen.
Yeah, but then obviously the key moments happens. I knew it was a goal the second that Martial gets it, and the midfield's missing in action. He's got his own. There's no one in the same postcode as Martial, and gives it to Cavani, whose touch takes it away from the defender, and it's just a, you know, lethal finish and, you know, a good goal. And, you know, it's harsh on the defence who've done their, you know, other than the first 20 minutes where they all looked like they were a bit excited. The defence had kept their shape really well all game again. Had that clean sheet mentality, as you say, but it wasn't to be this time. As soon as they score, I feel like that's it, game over. We haven't got it in us to get a goal back, because every time we haven't mentioned. Every time we went, what, go on?
You finish your thing and then I'm just
every time we went forward, even when it was 0-0, you know, Iwobi or Sigurdsson would get it and they'd just put it out of play, or it'd be over it, or it'd be under it. It was just disjointed going forward. We just didn't look like we had a goal in us. So the second we conceded one, I thought game over. That was all I was going to say.
Someone brought this up. It might have been in commentary or something when we conceded, that's fine. But there was about 7 minutes of the game that when we conceded, okay, means nothing. But why do we turn into Wycombe Wanderers every time we concede a goal and just put it in the box? There was no sort of build-up play to anything we were doing. We were never going to. It was just hitting Maguire's head every time. They had 4 men on the halfway line. I just felt we could have been a bit more intricate than that. get it out wide and get it in the box rather than just put it in from the halfway line.
I think that was when you saw the tiredness the most. I didn't think the team looked leggy in the first 20 minutes. They looked nervous, but then as we got to this last quarter of the game, I thought they're all shattered. Like they're just lumping it, hoping Calvert-Lewin can get something out of Maguire, which he didn't in this occasion because they thought, well, there's no Dean to give it to, there's no James. They're giving it to Sigurdsson, and although Sigurdsson, I think was trying.
He played well again. I thought Gilby didn't do bad again. I thought he worked hard.
It wasn't coming off for him, and it wasn't coming off for Iwobi either, and both of them have been good in the last few games, but everything they tried was just not working. It was everything was forced, but yeah, we conceded the goal, and then that's it. It's game over, and it's just a formality that they scored the other one on the counter attack.
Yeah, they were that unworried about us scoring. He performed then on the halfway line, even when we were going forward.
They could sense it. They thought these are shattered, and they've got no idea. So we'll just wait for them to launch it, and we'll get it back, and then just hit them on the counter, and that's what happens. And we go 2-0 down, and it's all she wrote. But listen, it's one of those things. We're gonna have to, stay steady as a fan base in these next few games, because
someone put it on Twitter last night, a couple of nights ago before the game. They got a bit of stick for saying it, but Man United's quality to ours, I don't even know why we're looking at. We think we're some sort of favourites to win this game, because realistically, the quality they've got even off the bench is ridiculous. We talk about Chelsea, Leicester, and Arsenal results. I think they've got more quality than the three of them. The dugout's a different issue, but I think on the pitch, they've got a really good team. And when it's all fit and firing, I think they'll be in the top 4 this season for me. But we'll just have to move on from this one and just hope that we can nick the scrappiest 1-0 of all time against Sheffield United and continue.
Yeah, what I was going to say then was it's just going to be one of those things. I believe it's going to require the fan base to sort of hold steady the next few games, because although these last 3 league results have given us a nice, platform and base to go into, this English week of, Boxing Day, 2 days later, you're going to see some freak results, and you might not see Everton winning every game, because this is where Carlo's going to have to call on these players who frankly aren't good enough. We might go into games where we're resting Calvert-Lewin and starting Tosin. We're going to
Let me know what game that is, and I'll watch something else. I'll watch Strictly for Christmas or something.
We're going to go into games where we're going to have to play, Gomez and Sigurdsson together in a centre midfield, and it's going to be rough. But if we can get through it and come out the other side, and when we go back to 1 game a week, that's when I think you'll see us, have a real chance of making a mark this season. This is where we just need to get through it.
Do you know what? If we had more options and we had a better team about us and just more options in every sense of the word, Andre Gomez would be finished, wouldn't he? He is absolutely woeful. I mean, I haven't been having a go at him since about July, because I thought everyone else seems to be doing it for me. Now I'm just going to sit back on my armchair with me smoking jacket and just watch everyone slate him. But since that, I just can't put up with him anymore. He's the most ineffective footballer going. He looks like he's had about 4 Christmas dinners every time he goes on the pitch. He's just terrible. Tom Davis is an amazing, but he's got legs and he can sort of do a job. Sort of. Gomez on the still. God, he's just so bad. I'm putting that first 20 minutes down to him, because Decore was in a 1-man midfield. He did it against Leicester. He just got absolutely obliterated. But oh well, people love him still apparently. So let them get on with
it. Yeah, he wasn't playing well, was he? And I think we're still going to see more of him in the coming games. But as I say, that's my thought is just get through these next few games. Might not get all the results we want, but I think
Yannick Bolasie in the changing rooms. He'll sort them out.
Yeah, get Yannick in. He'll be fine. He'll set the standards.
Yeah, he's been doing it all his career, hasn't he?
Exactly. But yeah, we can get through these next few games. Hopefully, get as many points as we can, and then when we go back to 1 game a week, I think we'll really be set up for having a really good go this season. But it's good. It's a vain hope, but I need and hope the fan base can just not lose. Throw their babies in the air with panic and stress if we don't get results in certain games, because we're playing a lot of under par players and a lot of very tired players. And this is a marathon, not a sprint. Carlo can only do so much. So, not to be this time in the Carling Cup, but we're in it again next year.
The Carabao. I called it the Milk Cup the other day.
I almost got away with that. Nearly got through the old video without doing that, but yeah, that's it. That's it then. Anyway, let's get this one in the bank and go. We've gone out again in the Carabao Cup, but fortunately we've already qualified for it next season, so we go again. Thanks very much for watching.
Until we welcome Lincoln City home.
Hope you all have a Merry Christmas, and thank you very much for watching the Toffee Blues. See you soon.
Merry Christmas.